When you look into the eyes of Richard Ramirez, you might just see a story that's as haunting as it is heartbreaking. He wasn't born a monster. He was once just a kid growing up in El Paso, Texas. But life, for Richard, was anything but easy. He grew up in a house full of chaos. His father was strict and quick to anger. As a young boy, Richard would escape to his cousin's house. But what he found there wasn't safety. It was darkness. His cousin, a Vietnam War veteran, showed him terrifying pictures and told stories of violence. That's where things started to change for Richard. He was just a kid, but his mind was filling up with fear and confusion. By his teens, Richard was sleeping in cemeteries to avoid the trouble at home. He started using drugs, and that only made the shadows in his mind grow deeper. He dropped out of school, moved to California, and found himself lost in a city that didn't care who he was. But it was in Los Angeles where Richard's life took its darkest turn. He became known as the Night Stalker, a name that would haunt families across California. For over a year, he broke into homes at night, leaving pain and fear wherever he went. His crimes were brutal, but what's even sadder is thinking about how a life could spiral so far out of control. Richard was eventually caught, thanks to a brave community who refused to let fear win. He was put on trial, found guilty, and spent the rest of his life in prison. He died in 2013, alone and far from the world he once terrorized. But behind the headlines and the horror, there's a lesson I can't ignore. Richard's story is a reminder that darkness doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's built piece by piece from pain, trauma, and choices. Some our own, some forced on us. It's a story about what happens when nobody steps in, when nobody helps, when a kid's pain is ignored. I'm not excusing what Richard did. Nothing could make up for the fear and heartbreak he caused. But maybe, just maybe, if someone had reached out to that scared little boy in El Paso, things could have been different. So when you see stories like this, remember, kindness matters. Look out for each other. Listen to the people around you. You never know whose life you might change just by caring. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and take care of each other.